Hey folks, today is Friday, October 4th, 2019. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, and we're here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Let's get you guys caught up. But before we do, quick note, thank you guys who came out last Friday's show and donated or watched our Friday night live stream crazy party where we raised over $4,000 for sick kids and cancer research for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. That is unbelievable. We had no idea how much we would raise, but we're so happy that you guys showed up and we're grateful for that. I always just like to see stuff like this because it's like gaming nowadays can feel so divisive and everybody's so angry, but we can all kind of get together and raise money for a good cause, you know? I love it. But let's talk about the news. It was a surprise thing to wake up to, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to PC. Yes, you heard that right. Finally. I'm alone. I'm shouting in a room alone. Everybody else is off today. But real talk, I got all the details for you right here, a little email from Rockstar. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to PC on November 5th. It's going to have a couple of new things here and there. Obviously, graphical PC features, but more bounty hunter missions, gang hideouts, some weapons. It's going to have Red Dead Online and everything that comes with that if you play it. It's also going to have pre-order bonuses if you pre-order it for the Rockstar Games launcher, like a special horse, more gold bars, cash, Outlaw Survival Kit for story mode. You'll also apparently gain access to 2 free games from the Rockstar launcher like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Bully, LA Noire, or Max Payne 3. You should always pick Max Payne 3. What is nice to see is that this thing isn't exclusive to Rockstar's platform. A lot of people were freaking out about that. That's not the case. Apparently, you can pre-order at Epic Game Store, Green Man Gaming, Humble, GameStop, and other digital retailers, and then it's going to drop on Steam a little later on in December. I'm just excited to see this because I really like the game as a single-player game, and I will replay it again with all the badass graphical features and good things and bells and whistles that comes with PC gaming. I'm all about it. But of course, the biggest thing is I want to hear from you guys, like what you expect from this, what you want in particular. Have you been waiting? Have you not touched Red Dead yet? Have you been waiting for a PC release? If so, I'm really excited for you because this is a hell of a single player story. Now, in other news, let's talk briefly about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. For the record, I'm working on the before you buy video right now. I'm not really a big fan of it. I love Ghost Recon as a franchise. I don't know yet. I don't know. Stay tuned. But with early access, a lot of controversy was stirred. A lot of shit was spun up with the fact that the game had a store filled with microtransactions that were intended to be time savers. Apparently, lists filled with ways to more quickly level up, just buy and acquire new guns, new gear directly, marketed seemingly as time savers, if you will. And people are concerned with games like this where, like, is that a way to, will they make the game's experience and grind longer artificially to incentivize you to buy these things? That's always a concern, especially when games like this launch with this stuff. But Ubisoft has gone on record and is removing these things, saying that they were put in too early. They said that the idea is these are time savers for people who want to play later content that is released and want to have an option to catch up, and they just want to see what the game has to offer, but they shouldn't have to pay more after paying $60. I don't know. It sucks all around, but essentially Ubisoft did come out and say, hey, whoa, we're not doing this just yet. We apologize. We're gonna put this in the game later, which also kind of sucks. It's a way of them like temporarily kind of backing down now, but also being transparent, saying, hey, we're still putting them in the game. I don't agree with that. I don't like that. But it seems like a lot of the review scores are rolling in and they're not so great. So I guess it didn't matter. We'll have to see where that goes. But another interesting development that was a bit of a surprise. PlayStation. Let's talk PlayStation. The head of PlayStation's game studios, Sean Layden, one of the big Sony veterans who've been around forever at the top of the leadership. You see him presenting E3 things. He's leaving the company. It was kind of a sudden announcement at night. The PlayStation Twitter account kind of tweeted it out. It seems a little sudden, seems a little random. There has been a lot of like leadership shuffling in Sony that we've talked about in the past, but this one comes a bit sudden and a little less ceremonious, if you will. Sean Layden, of course, is like kind of like one of the boys. He's been with PlayStation for like ever, for like 30 years, something like that. 32 years, actually. Like, so he's not an old guy. It doesn't seem like he's necessarily retiring from the game industry. A lot of people have been doing the conspiracy theory about this and what this means for the PlayStation 5. Is there some sort of fundamental disagreement internally? Is the direction something that some Sony heads are just not in agreement with? Like, what's happening, man? Not only that, the fact that it was announced and no plans for a successor had also been followed up with makes it seem like this is sudden. I don't know what to think. Honestly, the train keeps rolling, the money keeps rolling. I have faith in Sony at least sort of getting their shit together. I really hope this doesn't spell like issues for the next generation console launch at all. I've always expressed how I like Sony. I don't like pick sides in this thing as much as people want to label me that in comments. But with that, also, I think it's worth pointing out another news story surrounding PlayStation is that crossplay on the developer side has come out of beta. So what this means is that there are now tools in place for people developing games or porting games to PlayStation to enable crossplay functionality. So essentially, it seems like the crossplay wars that we joked about are over, and Sony has relented, and the floodgates are open for multiple platforms to more easily play with one another. And I think that's ultimately a pretty good thing. As long as the player, as long as the user still has some direct control to choose who they want to play with, I think ultimately it can be a good thing if like specific game developers want to implement it for their games. So hooray for that, I guess. Yay, good news. But before we move on, this episode is brought to you by just you guys. Again, shout out to y'all. Thank you for watching. Occasionally, we've been doing sponsor spots. We appreciate you guys still watching, still engaging, and coming around every Friday. I just always think it's important to say thank you to you guys. This is like my favorite part of my job. So yeah, much love. But let's talk about some trailers and stuff that you may have missed this week. We're going to link everything we talk about down in the description below. All these trailers, starting off with 10 minutes of full gameplay for Resident Evil. This actually dropped a little bit more towards last week. We didn't have time to talk about it, but you can see for yourself a bit more what the game is if you weren't one of the few lucky people to get an early access to it. I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I love Resident Evil. I'm a diehard fan, but this thing still just seems not to be what I want. It also seems to be not very well received, judging by the like-dislike ratio on YouTube. Big yikes, dude. Not only that, but speaking of Resident Evil, we have Leon and Claire in Monster Hunter Iceborne. Whatever, Capcom, just keep doing crazy shit. I'm all about it. Also, I linked it because I gotta give them love. They don't need any help. They don't need any shout-outs from us, but Digital Foundry did kind of like a deep dive analysis on Last of Us 2 gameplay, and they uploaded it in glorious 4K. And hot damn. I love their work. They've uploaded this in very high quality. Just want to give them a shout out. Also, because damn it, I always like to talk about VR. I love Beat Saber, and they've finally announced that like today, the Panic at the Disco music pack is rolling out. I'm not like the biggest fan of them or anything, but I always like more things and more music packs to play in Beat Saber. There's been updates recently, and I love where it's going. But in other news, I want to talk about something because it's funny how this is kind of rolled out, at least on Twitter and some social media sites. The makers behind Mario and Luigi have gone bankrupt. Well, read between the lines. No, Nintendo isn't going anywhere. So here's the specific deets. Alpha Dream, formerly known as Alpha Star, the Japanese development studio behind Super Mario RPGs, they have announced that they are officially completely bankrupt. Apparently, by last spring, they were like almost $4 million in debt. This is a shame and a bummer because they make some really underrated games. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, of course, Dream Team, Paper Jam. So, hate to say it, but like another one might be soon biting the dust, which is quite a bummer. I'd love to know in the comments, like, of their games, if you've played a lot of them, maybe you were a big 3DS player, something like that. What was your favorite Alpha Dream game? Let's talk down there. But the last story I think is a great one because I love talking about this type of stuff. The Nintendo PlayStation prototype. We've talked about this before. This thing exists as one of the rare few early physical representations of what almost was in video game history with Nintendo and Sony. Of course, that partnership then split, and then Sony and PlayStation became what it is today. It is known pretty much as a Super NES CD-ROM, and the owner has taken it around pretty much on tour. I have seen it with my own eyes. I can confirm it's real, but apparently he is looking to sell it, to offload it. Now, a lot of people are thinking that like this is him kind of like selling out, cashing in. I don't know if it's that. He's been pretty forthcoming about this even in the past. Most likely he will sell it to someone or some organization that will keep it in a museum. I would very much like that. I have a crazy idea. What if I bought it? I would absolutely put it in a museum. I wouldn't be like an asshole or anything like that. I also only have like $300. Definitely worth more than that. There isn't an actual auction or any sale going on yet, but I'm going to keep you guys updated because I love these types of like retro stories, and I'm really curious to see how much of a high price this thing is going to fetch. Some people, one of the people who reported this says that it's going to be like a record breaker. I don't know. Who knows? But wow. Let's just see where this goes. But before we go, we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how it goes down by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week we go in and randomly choose one person, like these people right here, to win a free console of their choice. So the winner this week is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because we're going to be reaching out to you to find out how we can send you your free stuff. But I want to talk to you guys now about all the stuff going on. First of all, with that Sony Nintendo prototype, how much do you think that thing will sell for, man? Also, with the Ubisoft Ghost Recon thing, does it matter because the game apparently isn't that great? I still think this is something that shouldn't be a thing, really, or at least pushed that heavily, because yikes. And also with Red Dead 2 on PC, what are your expectations? What are your hopes and dreams? Where are you gonna buy it? What are you gonna do with it? Let's talk about all the news that has been going on this week down in the comments. I'm gonna be there as much as possible, but if you got anything you want to specifically get in touch with me for, or yell at me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino, probably complaining about something or making bad jokes. But like I said earlier in the video, thank you guys for coming around and watching. It means a lot. We love doing this here, even though I'm the only one in the office today. If you enjoyed this video, maybe I'll see you next week. And also, clicking the like button definitely helps us out legit. We would really appreciate it. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.